welcome back, and let's continue the very long chapter. When we last left off, we were about to run into range of some Draconites. But, don't worry, actually these Draconites are kind of special. For some reason, they actually won't attack you unless you attack them first. And that's what we're going to exploit here. Now, technically speaking, you can just run past these guys without fighting them. I want the experience, so I'm going to be, I'm going to be doing a little bit of a plan here, just to make sure that we can lure them in properly and finish them off. But it's going to take a couple of turns to set up. Thankfully, this will give Militia time to, get to us. She's really starting to fall behind. Anyway, Ryan needs to... Stupid 5 movement, Ryan. Okay, this plan involves Katria. It also involves Linda and her Nosferatu tome, like I said in her character introduction. Now, I'm going to put her on a mountain and then abuse that tome to get her as much experience as possible. Like I said, Draconites give the experience field of a promoted class, and for someone as underleveled as Linda, that's really useful. So yeah, this is basically a giant ploy to get her more levels. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here and go, I'm throwing javelins at you, and hopefully they will take the bait and fly down towards us. Since Linda has paper-thin defense, they're all going to be magnetically drawn to her. And this is a good thing because her Nosferatu tome is going to keep her healthy. I may have done a similar tactic with Julia in my Fire Emblem 4 playthrough, but anyway, see, notice how Draconite gets damaged, Linda recovers most of her health, not quite all. She might still die if all 4 of them attack her at once, and, oh, nice one. That was lucky, but she would have survived anyway. Unfortunately, she doesn't quite double them yet, and this is why we're needing to get her experience. Now, of course, the rest of them are attacking Katria, which is a bit of a problem considering she still has that Javelin equipped. I may have already gone into this, but Javelins got horribly nerfed in this game. They went from 7 might in Shadow Dragon to, and I kid you not, 3. Yes, 3. You may as well be hitting enemies with a big piece of rubber. That is how bad they are in this game. So terrible. Alright, now let's see if she can aura nuke one of these guys. Okay, this could be a problem. Want to make sure she's still on that mountain. And I want to make sure that Ryan gets killed here, because it looks as though Ryan cannot go up that mountain and take her place. Again, Archer class, movement costs. I hate this. Okay. Right, now one of these guys, okay, the 15 HP one, we can finish off. Although Katria can finish it off too. So I've got a bit of a dilemma here, but if I don't get rid of at least some of these guys, then I'm going to run into trouble because, yeah, now here's the slight problem. Militia down there, I learned the hard way that, whoa boy, nice level up for Ryan there. See, I told you Ryan would get good. This is about the point, funnily enough, he just got a Master Seal, so he's set for promotion. But, yeah, Ryan starts getting good about now. And, okay, the reason I had Militia run away here, I actually had several attempts at this, Draconite luring ploy. Thankfully I got a save point back there, which is good, but basically this is what happened. I learned the hard way that if they get their hands on Militia, they double her into oblivion. Yeah, her speed is not the best at this point. Right, I'm just gonna get a sewer kill here. I actually can't remember my logic at this point, but, leads her to level up. No speed, but still that was pretty decent. And, again, now, Katria is gonna have to rely on vulneraries here, because, Militia can't come in and heal her, because if she did, again, she would get doubled into oblivion. I hate these guys. Oh yeah, this is the reason why I didn't just aura nuke one of these guys earlier. Because if she did, Linda would be forced to equip aura. Without Nosferatu, her defenses are not going to last long against 2 Draconites. That'll probably be enough to kill her, so that's why I needed to... Hey, look, a house. Oh, this talks about the Pegasus Knight trio, who we have 2 of. And yeah, the triangle attacks. Well, we did have S temporarily for a bit, but she's not going to be rejoining us until quite a bit later. Now, hopefully, yes, these guys are still drawn to Linda. Whoa, nice one there. What is it with me and critical into low percentages in this game? That could not have gone better. I was actually about to talk about how paranoid I was of Linda missing that. Because if she misses that and... Okay, admittedly that was pretty disappointing, but still. Another critical would be nice? No. Oh, well, that would have been ridiculous, but anyway. She could even get another level up just from this kill, but, yeah, that wasn't the best level up, but, she'll get better. Right, Aaron can go all the way over here. I'm using the lock-in or ranges button to make sure I don't lure those later Draconites without I was wrong, yes. It was a different attempt at this chapter where I accidentally had Paula run into range of one of them and lure them over. That was not good. That was definitely not good. I'm letting Katria get a few kills here because she's, less than 10. Most of my characters are level 10 by now, so I want to get her up to 10 too. And, poor Malicious, she's getting left behind. But at least this way she's far away from Marv. And speaking of Marv, he is on his way to the village to recruit Julian. Right, so I'm just gonna... Okay, yeah, there's not much to say at this point, because the rest of this... Okay, for a moment, the rest of this is basically just gonna consist of us flying, / walking, / riding, whatever, around the mountain, taking the long way around, all the way over here. Yes, this is a very long chapter, and it gets boring after a while. I'm not really sure how I feel about this one. Again, you can do it quicker if you want to, but that will result in you losing a character. Well, losing a character who's not very good, admittedly, but I'd like to be a perfectionist. Unfortunately, I would have liked it if Paula and Katria got a talk conversation there. Very often in Fire Emblem games where two characters who know each other, you've got one all over on the other side of the map and the other not, they usually get a talk conversation when they get to each other and, oh, one space off. Almost there. But this will give us time to get the rest of us into position because we're going to have to deal with those Dracos eventually. And for the time being, we can use these forts in place of militia for healing. And right, since there's nothing much I can say here, well, until Marv gets to the village, which will be soon, I just might like to add that if you're watching this video as soon as it's uploaded, go to Serena's Forest now, because there's some new info about the English version of Fire Emblem Awakening. Looks like it's going to be coming out in America on February 2nd, which is sooner than I expected. Of course, not coming out in Europe until April, and I seriously hope Australia is not being considered part of Europe at this point, because, we get shafted so badly in terms of game releases. But, weirdly enough though, here in Australia, in case you don't know, that's where, I live, yeah. Here, we got, Shadow Dragon before anyone else did, which, was kind of like my ha-ha-ha-ha moment. I'm sorry, but we have a history with getting the short end of the stick when it comes to game release dates. I had to wait, what, like about 6 months between the American and our release of Radiant Dawn? Yeah, that was annoying. And meanwhile, Julian. Yes, we are recruiting Julian now, and he's talking about how, yes, the clerics are vanishing, and the only info that Julian has is that supposedly a mysterious bishop has been seen around the area. Well, priest or whatever. I'm not entirely sure if in the original Japanese version they use gender-neutral pronouns, because there's actually 2 people that could be. One of them is pretty obvious, but there actually is a second. But anyway, now that we've got Julian, wait a minute, I forgot to do the character introduction, let me get to that now. Hi Julian, don't worry, we'll get Lena back for you soon, but until then, welcome to the party, and, well, you certainly are welcome. Just look at those growths there. Julian is the kind of guy who makes you wish assassins existed in this game. Because, well, yeah, he's pretty amazing. That strength growth in particular, 70, is like, whoa, by Thief standards. And it's really wasted on a class with only a 20 strength cap and, no promotion or reclass options. Yes, thieves cannot reclass, but then again, would you want them to? Thief utility is pretty amazing. But before we get onto thief utility, Julian actually has pretty good combat utility as it is. Again, he'll start off pretty fragile and kind of weak, but look at that, he's got a 40 defense growth. That's actually higher than, well, that's about equal to, I believe that's equal to Luke and Rhodey, actually. Unfortunately, the lack of promotion gains really hurts his average in that area, so sadly, actually, he doesn't get to benefit from that very much, which is annoying. And it just goes to show how much of a difference promotion gains make. But anyway, oh, and speaking of promotion gains, thieves can't promote in this game, but they can reach a maximum level of 30 instead of 20. Kinda like Mark's Lord class. Also ballisticians, but that's pointless because you don't actually get any. But I digress. Anyway, so train Julian up, get him some experience early on, and he'll actually be a pretty valuable combat unit. But until then, he still does pretty well at what he's meant to do. Thieving. Well, you can't actually steal items from enemies in this game, but being able to open chests and doors, certainly really, really useful. And, you know, we'll be needing that more and more later on. Marth can open chests with his Fire Emblem, which means that, usually only Marth and Julian are generally all you need for those indoor maps with lots of chests, which again we'll be seeing more of later. Also, I just want to mention just how critical it is that you actually get all the chests on maps, because we'll be encountering these items later on, and we will not want to miss a single one of them, and a thief helps in that. So again, basically, Julian has great thief utility, and you train him up, and he'll have good combat utility too. One more thing about Julian. You might want to train him up. I don't want to spoil anything, but Julian is one of 4 characters who are essentially forced into the final chapter. I say essentially forced, because technically speaking, the final chapter is possible without these 4, but you'll make the game a hell of a lot harder on yourself. And a lot more depressing. These 4, and I'll talk about the others when I get to them, are vital for the final chapter, and so you probably will want to train each of them up a bit, even if you're not really using them. Again, who are the other 3? We'll find out later, but suffice to say, for the moment, just remember, Julian is gonna be important in the long run, so keep him alive. As I was saying before, Awakening, English release data, go check up on that, seriously, there's a lot of pretty cool stuff there. Also, it seems like there's some confirmation that the DLC episodes are probably getting localized. Well, we know that Marth, Ephraim, and Ike's DLC episodes are definitely getting localized. As for the others, well, there definitely is hope. You know why? If you look closely at one of the screens in the trailer, you'll notice that it shows the names of a couple of items. One of them is Alm's Blade. Alm, of course, is the main hero from Fire Emblem Gaiden, Fire Emblem 2. And if a sword named after him is definitely appearing in the localized version, you can be pretty safe to assume that he probably will be too. So, again, there is hope for the Japan-only DLC characters. Right, now what we're doing is we're gonna plan to lure in these Dracos. Until Ryan gets here. Ryan has to get here, otherwise things could be problematic. And Linda definitely needs some more kills. So, we're gonna lure in these Dracos. Funnily enough, if you look there, I just checked everyone's stats just to see who has the highest defense out of everyone I have. Surprisingly enough, at the moment it's currently tied between Mary Sue, no doubt there, and, surprisingly enough, Ryan. Maybe not so surprisingly though, again. Why do I have to keep saying this? I don't have to keep saying this by now. Ryan is more durable than he looks. I've said that so many times, haven't I? But, yeah, it's true. I'm gonna lure with Katria though, because she needs more experience. Now I'm gonna go have Aaron go the unarmed meat shield. I like unarmed meat shields. Unarmed meat shields are fun. I did that with Titania back in Path of Radiance. as you probably haven't, because those videos all got disappointingly low views. I don't know, maybe it's a lack of commentary, and whoa! Nice one, Katria, you were just supposed to tank and lure. You did much, much more than that. I am impressed. Ow. Aaron, you just stick with doing that. Right, now I need to get... oh dear. Unfortunately, Ryan is only in range of the one that anyone else will kill very easily. This could be problematic. Oh, Linda is still level 5. That is not good. Fortunately, she'll have more opportunity to gain experience in the next chapter, but for the time being... You know, it's times like these I wish I had a dancer. Subtle foreshadowing, perhaps? You'll have to wait and see. Oh, great, Ryan can go... Oh, nice one, just enough damage. Good shot there, Ryan. Despite Archer being a generally terrible class, even though Ryan is, you know, a good example of one. As in, he's a good Archer. He manages to be good in spite of his class's flaws, that's what I meant. Not that he's a good example of an Archer class being terrible. Anyway, Archers are incredibly useful. You will want a bow user on your side, because, yes, you're seeing Draco Knights pretty early, and later, yeah, we meet these enemies who, I really, really hate. You will learn to hate these particular enemies, but thankfully they are weak to bows. And that is one of the reasons why you really want an archer on your side. I hate those things so much. Alright, let's try and get Mathis some... Oh, okay, Mathis finding the axe one. Of course, in the original Mystery of the Emblem, Draco Knights didn't have axes. In fact, it wasn't until Radiant Dawn that Draco Knights started to be associated with axes, which is, yeah, kind of lame. In fact, because of that, many... Oh, come on, Katria, I know I said you were awesome in the last chapter, but you don't need to do anything to prove it to me. I think you're awesome regardless. Fair, level up. She's now on par with Katria and... Paula, sorry, with her sister in terms of, speed. Of course, she'll grow speed much faster than her sister does. And yay, another level up for Linda. Please be better, please. Still not speed! Still not speed! What is with this? I guess I'm gonna have to accept this though, because I do not want to restart and lose Ryan's awesome level up from before. So I'm gonna have to, yeah, accept that. In fact, funnily enough, I'll just say this now, despite Linda being awesome, and in a normal playthrough, I would use her, I would use the absolute hell out of her because she's amazing. I am actually not going to be using her in my main party this playthrough. It's mostly because, well, yeah, being a Mary Sue playthrough, I'm kind of going to be forced to use someone else. But, anyway, Ryan takes an axe to the face with dignity and awesomeness. Much like Edward does in Radiant Dawn. I actually still don't know why that's a meme. I honestly never had Edward take axes in his face very often. I think Edward is awesome, by the way. Some people don't, I do. And again, we see Aura completely vaporizing things. Once she starts doubling with that, that's when the fun really begins. And by fun, I mean unbearable pain if you're on the enemy side. Whoa, look at that, that's a lot of damage even without, even with weapon triangle disadvantage. And even with... okay, with weapon triangle disadvantage, Mary Sue manages to dodge and then crit with a low percent. You know what, I should make a tally of all the crits I've got so far of something less than 10%, because I've got a lot of them so far. And I think more than half of them were by Ozma. Oh, and by Mary Sue, of course. Of course, 2 of the Mary Sue ones ended up killing her. As you found out in the episode, too much crit will kill you. Right, now, it's time to assault the Rebels' main stronghold. Get everyone to file in here, and I am going to lure the enemies, preferably without getting in range of that ballista, with my flyers. I want Katria to be on the front lines, but again, I don't want her to... Oh crap, Militia's caught up to Marth, this can't be good. At least he gets healed from it. Now, the other thing I am worried about is killing Mathis. Given that he's kind of a pathetic failure, fortunately though, he has a javelin, and he likes using it, which is a good thing, because javelins suck. I went on before about how much javelins suck, and I probably want to say it again. Javelins suck in this game. You might remember in the previous, no, not the previous chapter, chapter 1, I contemplated buying a javelin for the armory. I didn't, because javelins suck. At least, I mean, they're kind of mildly useful once your strength gets really high and you need to attack something at long range. I mean, Katria can do well with them simply because she's amazing. For everyone else, though, have I said it before? Javelins suck. Anyway. Don't want to get in Mathis's range. Now, you might see, I've got Julian surprisingly close to the front lines there. There is a good reason for that. You don't want him to go too far into the front lines, otherwise he'll fall victim to Mathis's infamous, condition. I mean, Mathis is the most known for Mathis syndrome, but there are a few other people in Shadow Dragon with it. My personal favourites include Astrum. Astrum is passionately in love with Midia. That doesn't stop him from brutally trying to murder her while he's still an enemy. Yes, and I've had that happen a few times. I think I actually had him kill her once too. Then there's also Wendell. He goes on about how he has no love for war. That doesn't stop him from trying to brutally murder you if you get in his range. Now, I actually hoped everyone would go to Ryan. In other games, the enemies seemed magnetically attracted to archers. Well, they were to shit him because he had Provoke, but still, and oh crap, that's bad. Methinks I did not consider Rangers very much. Fortunately, Militia is behind him, ready to... That was close. That could have ended badly. One more hit and Julian... Yeah. That wouldn't be good. Okay, another... Oh, right. So you're the one who attacks Ryan. Right. Well, at least that means he's not being counterattacked. 2 damage, even with an Iron Lance. Wow. That's not even with the Javelin. Speaking of which, I laughed a lot that in my first playthrough, I discovered that Mathis, he does no damage to base level arrows with a Javelin. That was pretty funny. Oh, you'll learn more about Mathis once I get to his character thing, but it's not going to be pretty, trust me. Although, lately some have said he's nowhere near as bad as some players make him out to be. He's just nowhere near as good as the other Cavaliers. Alright, now hopefully I can kill this guy and then not kill Mathis, despite how much some might like me to. Right, there we go, and now we are ready to do this. Yes, it's Julian who recruits Mathis this time. Funny, I guess Julian's kind of expressing the player's frustrations anyway. And he still doesn't like Julian much, despite Julian probably being a much better moral character than he is. Anyway, and he's changing his tune pretty quickly. I admit, I actually think this conversation is pretty funny. They did a lot better job of this than they did in the original mystery translation. Yes, so for the second time, he was forced onto the front lines for good talent. But, anyway, oh boy. Okay, try to find something positive, try to find something positive, try to find something positive. Well, he actually does have the highest HP growth of all the Cavaliers we've got so far. Yeah. Oh boy. Basically, this is Mathis. Mathis is known for his AI-induced stupidity, his complete cowardice in the story, and being not a very good Cavalier. Although, yeah, there are some who say he's not quite as bad as most people make him out to be. I might say different. Well, just put it this way, he's better than Aaron. At least he's better than Aaron. He's got that going for him. Yeah. But, yeah, just take a look at those growths. His strength and skill are the only ones that are halfway decent. His strength is pretty good. Unfortunately, Luke has better strength and better growth than everything else. In fact, yeah, I mean, even some of Mathis's base stats aren't as good as they are. Rhodey, again, comparable strength and much, much better skill, speed, and luck. So, again, yeah, his weapon ranks aren't anything special either, and to top it all off, he joins at a point where, what, we've got 4 potential paladins by this point? I mean, one of them's a Jigen, but even he's probably overall more useful than Mathis is. By this point, we have Luke, Rhodey, and Cecile. All of them will outclass Mathis in every way imaginable. So, yeah, there really isn't much point in using him. 3 Cavaliers is easily enough, and then you've got potentially my unit on top of that. Like, you would say, oh, maybe if you need another Cavalier, but why would you? You've already got a lot. And things just keep getting worse because in a couple of chapters, we'll be getting even more Cavaliers, and there's some very good ones coming up. Yep, there are still some really good potential Paladins coming up, and Mathis just keeps getting left in the dust by them. What's worse, you were already spoiled for choice if you wanted a Paladin in the original mystery. Now, all the potential Paladins from the original mystery are back, and there's a whole bunch of new ones. Yes, there's even more, and pretty much all of them are better than Mathis is. So, yeah, he's easily the worst of the unpromoted Cavaliers, and joining so early, that's a pretty big honor he gets that. Dubious honor anyway. I once heard someone say, of all the characters I didn't want showing up in the sequel, Mathis topped the list. Unfortunately, he made it in anyway. I guess though, I guess you could say his growths have probably improved a little bit since the original. And I mean, he's not as abysmal as he used to be, but when you've got all these other excellent Cavaliers to choose from, why bother? I'll be honest, the main reason I recruited Mathis, aside from character perfectionism, is so that he wouldn't kill anyone else or himself. But now that's sorted, I can have him run away and go hide somewhere and never ever ever let him get a single point of experience ever. I'm probably giving this guy a lot of undue hate, but I really don't care. Ow! I am gonna get that ballista soon, but first let's deal with Rook. Yes, he is the first general we'll be fighting. He's got a javelin, but of course javelins suck. And Ryan can't double him. Great! That's annoying. You might also notice a couple of weird glowy numbers in, okay, I'm just gonna hit a save point here. Not that I really need it. We're so close to the end of this chapter, I thought I'd take this time to talk about the side quest requirements in this game. Yes, this game has side quests, and thankfully, unlike in Shadow Dragon, you don't have to murder your own characters in order to get them. This time though, it's almost impossible to miss the side quests unless you're intentionally trying. Basically how it works is, every chapter has 2 requirements. If you fulfill, not every chapter with a side quest, this is the first one, has 2 separate requirements. If you fulfill either of them, you progress to the side quest. The first requirement is always a turn count. So if you finish the chapter in under a specified number of turns, you will get the side quest chapter. If you don't, you'll still have a chance to based on the second condition. Now, I'm just going to look up Serenade's Forest to find the exact number of turns needed. The number of turns required actually depends on your difficulty level. And higher difficulties allow for more turns. This, the turn requirement for this chapter is is 24 turns on normal, 28 on hard, 35 on maniac, 38 on lunatic, or 43 on lunatic reverse, but I doubt you'd ever take that long. Now, I think I'm actually within that. Nice critical there, Mark. This guy's taking quite a while to go down, but, and now he's down. And we get a level up. Pretty good one too, and now you probably notice from that fanfare, that item is actually pretty important. Notice those two glowy pluses just transferred over to Mark. What is this mysterious star sign named item, you may ask? We'll find out its true worth later on. But suffice to say, keep a hold of this. You will need it. And remember, if you see any other items that look like it, grab them at the first chance you get. I cannot stress this enough. Okay, now, just for fun, I thought I'd go to the Rebel, sympathizing armory here and see if any reinforcements triggered. They did, presumably, because I already killed the boss. But anyway, let's see. Now, I also need to mention, though, I think I'm within the turn count for hard. I probably am. It's really lenient anyway. If I wasn't, I would have fulfilled the second condition anyway. The second condition for this chapter is that you lost one or less allies in the prologue. In other words, yes, if you lose any more than 2 allies in the prologue, you won't fulfill the condition, so you'll have to get it based on turn count. Now, interestingly, it does say 1 or less allied deaths or retreats, so I presume that means even if you're playing casual mode, it still keeps track of the allies who retreat, and if you let more than 1 retreat, then you won't fulfill the condition. Anyway, Lang is back. Yes. But, finally, Lang is about to get what's coming to him. Unfortunately, Mary Sue has been one to deliver it. And yes, here is what I, think is one of the most awesome moments in the game. Yes, good on you, Mark. You are awesome. Yes, we should have done this right from the start. What? Well, technically Mark didn't actually order that, but says if he had the choice, he would have. Nice one. And yeah, so thankfully the Royal Children are fine. Ultima broke in and managed to take them back from Lang, which was really good. Because yeah, would not want to leave him with them with a guy like this. And of course, yes, Hardin and Nina are gonna have word of this. Yeah. And now is the part where Jagan officially, for anyone who ever hated this guy because of his growth rates, they stopped hating him at this line right here. Yes, Jagan, you are awesome. No, unfortunately you don't get to see Jagan totally own this guy, because that would have been awesome. But we'll get a chance to do that later. Unfortunately, since Jagan's not playable in this game, we won't be able to actually do it with him. But still, much appreciated. Jagan, you are awesome. Again, anyone who ever hated him because of his growth rates, that scene, that one scene, instantly rescued him from that. So, then again, now that we're not following Lang's orders, what do we do? Well, now if you remember from the villages back in the first chapter, Wendell was once the custodian of the royal children. Apparently he's in Macedon now, which just happens to be close to where we are, which... what a freaky coincidence. Also, Ogma happens to be there, and that is really good, because we want him back on our side now, because he is awesome. Yes, Ogma, otherwise known as 7% Crit Guy. Now this bit... yeah, we're going to interrupt the main story a little bit, because before we progress on and meet up with Ogma, yep, I fulfilled the conditions for the side quest, and it's very hard not to, so we'll be going there next. So apparently, in Macedon's northern mountains, the assassins are on the move. They hinted at the end of the prologue we hadn't seen the last of them, and yep, they'll kind of be recurring antagonists from now on. Our first skirmish with them is going to be up next, in Chapter 3X, where we also meet another familiar friend. Until then, I'll see you next time.